Yay.
everyone. Welcome back to Alter Mind. Yay.
Hi, welcome back. Don't mind the hair or anything like that. This is what end of season looks like. Exhaustion.
Absolutely.
Bring it, summer.
Uh,
I'm not one for the sun or the bugs or any of that business, but I am geared for all of my stuff to shut the I can't do the thing.
STFU?
Yeah, there you go. Yep, that's
STFU.
yeah, yay. I'm done. I'm doing my art thing and whatever all summer, and I'm just going to ignore the world.
Yeah.
If Trump can ignore the world, why can't I?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be good. I've been walking more ever since the good weather started. I've been using my legs,
Oh,
which is
yay.
great.
There you go.
Yeah.
I listened to some music this morning, which is the topic of our podcast today,
Yes, it
music.
is. Yes, it
Yep.
is.
So I started out with Robbie Robertson's Unbound.
Okay, never heard of them.
And oh, and if you like North American singers and things like that, like
Mhm.
this, it's a sound you'd probably really jive to. Um, Somewhere down that crazy river. Do you know that song?
No.
God, man, you missed all the good movies. Do you ever see Ladder 49?
No.
Oh man, I've seriously got to educate you in so many things right now. You poor soul. Anyway, so he did Robbie Robertson. He was in a couple of bands and stuff like that coming up, and I think he recently passed away as well too. Actually, within the last year. But he was one of my favorites of like for sounds to listen to, and
Mm.
he's just got like an easy jive type sound that you can. That's a little bit bluesy, a little bit folk rock, a little bit rock, all of it all joined together, and it just kind of like makes my brain go, okay, I can feel things again,
Mm.
which is usually, the meds, they kind of like put you
Yeah.
numb, right?
Yeah.
And being part of the community supports program, that entire thing is so dehumanizing that you don't
Mm.
have any choice but to become numb,
Mm.
right? So taking back my ability to feel something again, and I do that through music and art.
Yeah, yeah, same. I like music because it makes me feel alive.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I can't, that's part of the problem that I have right now, especially is I can't get on my bike anymore.
Mm.
Because, my legs don't allow me to operate a bike in the same way. And I don't have money to access a bike that I can ride.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing. And I can't go on my own anymore. Now I need some sort of guidance, either AI or human form. Either
Mm.
way, I need access, and I can't get access to either of those because of money as well. So, but it was one of the things that I always did as part of my regular exercise for my spine and all the things
Mm.
that I needed to do, right? And now I can't do that anymore. And so I just feel so trapped,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So just bloody trapped. And the big release, always music. So
Music.
yeah, here we are. So we broke it down. Okay, I've got six. I could not iron off the last one. I just couldn't.
It's okay because
I,
I only gave three. I only gave
oh,
three, so you have
okay.
extra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how about you go first?
Okay.
Yeah.
I got mine
And
listed
then I
here.
can do two, and then you can do another, and then I'll do two, and then you do another, and
So
we'll
how many
we'll
do you
tie
want me to
off.
do now? I'll start off at one.
Just start, yeah, start off with one, and I'll go two.
Okay, hold on. Let me open. Let me open.
Yeah.
All right. So the first one I have is "The Mountain Is You," and I want to get up the lyrics because that's
Okay.
usually why I like songs.
Fair.
And I have one song stuck in my head today because I was listening to it while I was out for my walk.
Oh, fair play. Yeah, that's me.
So I like the song because it makes you feel your feels, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. I like it. It's all about, I feel like it's all about facing yourself and stuff like that,
Okay.
which I like. I also really like folky, slow type music. I listen to it a lot, and that's just one of those types of vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you want to say about it? Anything else? Like, how does it make you feel like inside? Does it give you like,
Oh.
I don't know. There's some music that you just, even if you're a person who doesn't usually do sound well,
Mm.
there's always like that one song that you want to go to the Sydney Opera House and have it blasted just
Yeah.
because it hits your soul in places that things just can't.
Yeah.
Is that one of those songs
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you?
yeah. There's a lot. Most of the music I listen to is music that really hits me in different spots. So, like, it could be this song makes me feel really energetic. This song makes me feel
Yeah,
sleepy. This song makes me feel my feelings. Like, if I'm feeling like really deep and emotional, right? It puts me in the
yeah,
place where I can like almost like process the emotions. I feel like
right.
music helps me process.
Yeah. So are you task driven as well too when it comes to music?
Sometimes, but that sort of depends on my executive dysfunction. Because sometimes it doesn't matter how much music, like what music plays, my executive dysfunction is still going to be like, nah, not today.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. My wake up song would probably be Sanctuary from the Cult,
Never heard of
right?
it,
Like this is not part of the list,
but
but
now I
if
want to
you
listen to it.
oh, it's I'm all the songs that we're going to mention and we're going to talk about here, we're going to put it in a list and it'll be on our Facebook page and on our
Mm,
YouTube and all that. That way you can just click the link and go listen for yourselves to see if
yes.
maybe it hits you in the same way, and maybe you won't like it at all. Maybe you'll just be like, God, those girls are nuts. And that's fine. That's all fine because music is about what how you feel, right?
Mm,
Like what how where it brings you. And that's the thing. It's such an individual thing, and that's so cool about it. But that's for me, that's why I go to Goo Goo Dolls Days. And I
I
can't
do like the
play the
Goo Goo
song.
Dolls.
Yep, I cannot play the song because I will bawl like ugly cry ball.
Oh,
Oh
love
yeah,
it.
seriously. Yeah, it is one of those songs that it's uh okay, so like I'm a spiritual person, not a religious person.
Mm,
But
mm,
I always believe that, that there is something to the stories. There has to be. You can't have a story that big not come from anywhere in particular,
mm.
right? When you talk about like things like Jesus and the Bible and all that kind of stuff. I have no idea what context any of it is. I look at the Bible as a really good story, and if you can abide by a few of the rules in there, you might be all right.
Right.
You know.
But do you mean just the Bible and Jesus, or like all religions and all gods and all deities? Because like they all are
I don't know
stories.
enough. Yeah, I don't know enough about the
So
other
are they
ones. I
all
investigate them as well, right?
right? Do they all have truths? I feel like
I feel like there's a collection of truths and being
yeah,
able to identify them and whatnot. Like, I
yeah.
don't know if we'll
Maybe we're
really
not
get
meant
there.
to. Maybe we're not meant to
Maybe not.
because I
Maybe
feel like we're just supposed to
yeah.
have
So
faith.
faith in general, not necessarily, like, hey, here's the sun god, and therefore everybody must bow. The
No.
whole raw thing. I'm not sure about that. But I do think there is something to all the religions. Although Scientology tells me that maybe that one could be a little bit iffy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
There's
don't know
some that I
about.
think are just like masquerading as religious beliefs, right?
Well, exactly, right? But that's a whole other bag and another one we
Okay,
can
yeah,
talk about in another
we
episode. But
got
yeah,
how we
yeah,
got
yeah.
from the Goo Goo Dolls to Scientology. I don't know, but let's
I
not.
started with the whole Jesus and spiritual thing. It's
Right,
my
right.
fault, my
Sorry.
bag.
So, what were you
I
saying about that? The song
so
makes you
for that
feel
song,
spiritual.
like, okay, so if I'm gonna go do the whole walk down the aisle thing and things like that,
Mm,
December 31st was gonna be my day
mm-hmm,
because that's the day, at least in the Gregorian calendar, where everybody gets to have a new start,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
right? From that day on for the rest of the year. And my years have been a colossal mess of screw ups from neck to nuts, so to speak. One year after the other
Nick
after the other.
to nuts,
So,
she said.
so I
Love
am
it.
always hoping for a better year.
Mm, mm,
And if you're beginning a relationship long term like that, commitments and all those things, I mean, what better day of the year could you possibly pick than that one?
it's a good day.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's also like it's like it's pure.
Mm,
It's not tainted yet
mm-hmm,
because you haven't lived it yet. You don't know, and when the world starts to fall apart and you look for hope and all of the crazy places you can
mm-hmm.
possibly find it, to me, December 31st is it. And like Better Days tends to be seen as a Christmas song.
Okay.
So yeah, because it talks about, of all the bows and strings, and you don't need presents and gifts and things and stuff
Mm.
like that. It's about being together,
Yeah.
with your people that you care about. So to me, it's kind of like an all-encompassing type thing. But I'm also a person who, because of my hearing issues and stuff like that, I never hear lyrics.
Right.
I hear the instrumental before I ever hear or understand the lyrics. So I was already here feeling the vibes with the music, and then I went and read the lyrics, and that was it. Like ever since then, now I can't get it out of my head, and I ugly cry every single time. So that's that one. But
So
awesome, awesome song.
if you need an ugly cry, try
Yeah.
Better Days by Goo Goo
Oh yeah,
Dolls.
go for that one.
Sometimes
Yep.
we need an ugly cry. Sometimes we need to do it.
Yes. Sometimes we need the thing that pushes us over that edge to cry, because we're told that crying is a weakness, and all
Hmm.
these other cultural weird social norm things that don't make any sense. And,
Yeah.
so sometimes we need that thing that helps us to get to the place where we can actually feel our emotions and understand that, yeah, hey, maybe that wasn't such a bad thing. So there we are. So my next song is Pink Floyd, and it's called Keep Talking. So it's off their Division Bell CD, which is 1994, I believe. And I really like this one because it talks where it was the Doug Gilmour, the fellow who wrote it, also a member of Pink Floyd band, if you're not familiar. Um, so there's a couple of pieces in the song about talking about keeping talking. It's about people who've been silenced, and the silence that comes out of that as well too, like as a whole.
Hmm.
The oppression that silence brings on and things like that. And how do
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
keep the connection? Well, we keep talking. And when we experience that oppression, like people who are nonverbal,
Hmm.
are normally seen as having no voice. They
Yes.
have one. We just may not hear it in the way we expect to hear it. Right. And that comes out in people who use like AAC devices. I use an AAC device when I go mute. Stephen Hawking used one, and his voice is actually in his AI voice is in the song Keep Talking. So to me, it's a really special piece
Hmm.
that promotes the idea. And this is, I only recently found out about the whole, like, where the origins and stuff like that are. I just thought it was a really bloody cool song.
Mm.
And then I started, like delving into the why and the where and all that kind of bit, and finding out more about it. And that's when I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, this all makes sense. Sometimes it feels like fate. So here you
Hmm.
are. Anyway, go ahead. Yours.
Nice, nice, nice. Mine
Yeah.
is the next one on my list is a gay anthem,
Okay.
which uh
I feel like there's been a few out there. So which one's this?
okay, so this is new. This is called The Giver by Chapel Roan.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so these are like new Chapel Roan is like a new new-ish artist. I think she's
Uh-huh.
been around for a bit, but she's young, right?
Okay.
She's young. Um But what's different about these songs is that they empower femme folk. So like the giver empowers femme on femme relationships, which often is not modeled into our society unless it's about the sexualization of femme relationships. So
Yeah.
femme on femme
We talk
relationships.
about inclusivity, but inclusivity tends it's still like a lot of the demographics about the oppressed and not recognized um sections among like all the gender and sexual
Hmm.
identity communities and stuff like that. It still feels like they're segregated,
Hmm.
even in discussion. Like they talk about disability and socioeconomic and all those divisions, and then they add on, oh, and it's
Hmm.
like, really? Are you serious?
Hmm.
That there's no and here.
Hmm.
They're together with everybody else who's
Yes.
also been excluded. So
Yes.
yeah.
So yeah, I like it. I like it because it's in your face, and
Good.
I feel like it's especially because it's Pride Month. So yay for
Yeah.
Pride Month. I think that it's time for queer people to be more authentic and more loud. I think it's time for
Yes.
us to get louder, especially in Newfoundland and Labrador. I feel like it's still very conservative, very disgustingly homophobic and transphobic
Oh
province.
yeah. Yeah. I don't,
So the
I
louder we
don't,
are, the better.
yeah, really. I don't know if this, how well accepted this movie is, but I have two of my favorite movies that are, from the queer community.
Mhm.
One of is Mambo Italiano, and it's a movie out of Montreal. Yeah, and I'll have to put the link
Mm.
there because I promised about
Okay.
the music I'm going to do for
Yes.
this one. And it's honest, there's no way to describe it. It is just, it's French Italian family dynamics and stuff like that, and it's a really good laugh.
Mm.
Also, The Birdcage. Robin Williams is fantastic as always,
Hmm.
right? Plays a gay lover to Nathan Lane's fantastic gay representation, as far as I'm concerned, as well too.
Hmm.
Um, but also the idea, the concepts of masking and all these things to fit
Yeah.
in, to normalize, are,
Yeah.
brought up in the movie, and about how people shouldn't have to. And anyway, but it's Robin Williams, so I mean, there's comedy galore in there, and Nathan Williams as well, or Nathan Lane as well. It's lovely, lovely movie. But I started watching that again the other day, and everybody in the house was kind of like, "What are you watching? What are you watching that for?" Because it's good TV, man.
Mm.
That's all I can tell you. So yeah, the more we have of that stuff, definitely the better.
Okay, now you go. What's your next two?
Okay. All right. So the next one is not a song, but it's a speech, and most people know it. Al Pacino, Any Given Sunday. And one of my, it's a football thing, and talks about um not just football, talks about life, and talks about the
Mm.
fight, how hard the fight is, and how hard it is to do it on your own,
Mm.
and how it's better when you do it together. And that applies across the board. I mean, when we look at the autism community and things like that, generally you got a bunch of autistics trying to fight on their own
Mm.
for anything and everything, right?
Hmm.
I mean, yourself, we went through that recent strife that we had with, our own local autism community. And it
Hmm.
was hard. It's
Hmm.
really hard to feel like you're on your own.
Yeah.
And, I often feel like I'm the lone autistic in the room when I'm at NL Health Services,
Yeah.
trying to show up for representation. And I feel like I have to speak for the whole bloody community. And
Hmm.
all I want is somebody else in there who's autistic as well.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard. It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. So when I listen to this speech, the times when I'm struggling the most is when I listen to that,
Mm.
because he says, inch by inch, minute by minute, we claw, we fight for that inch.
Hmm.
And he's not wrong. It's like, he says at the beginning that he has no idea what to say. He's an old man, everything's been taken from him because of poor choices that he made. And then he just launches into this epic speech that just takes everything by storm, but is also everything.
Mm.
And anyway, so I mean, to me, when I'm really struggling, that's where I go.
You put on that speech.
Yep.
Nice.
And I have strength to at least go for the next 5 minutes. And after that
Mm.
I find something else, but maybe I'll replay again because, echolalia. Yay.
Yeah.
Is it still my go?
Yeah, you still got one
Yeah.
more.
Okay, cool. All right. So, Our Lady Peace,
Mm.
Innocence.
Yeah.
Do you know that
That's
one?
a good one. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, yeah. The lyrics that come up on the thing that I posted. I remember feeling low. I remember losing hope. I remember all the feelings and the day they stopped. And there's just so much in that song, from reading the lyrics and everything. I, I love Our Lady Peace anyway.
Yeah,
Like there
they're a
really
pretty cool
isn't,
band.
yeah, there's really not much that I'm not like in love with. Somehow I just really love this band
Mm.
anyway. Um, but like when they talk about, how the girl with cancer and
Mm.
how she'd never ever heard of cancer. How
Hmm.
many of us can identify with that, right?
Hmm.
It's just all the things that get taken from us, but at the end of the day, we're all innocent. No
Yeah.
matter what happens, no matter how it happens or anything like
I
that.
wish people would remember that more though when we look at like people
Yeah.
judge. There's a lot of judgment from people in our society in our communities of like judging people who are on the streets,
Hmm.
judging queer people who are, for pride and when our pride parades, judging that and
Yep.
not seeing us at all as equal or even the same, all
Yep.
human. That's what I think that song is trying to say is that we're all just human.
Yes, exactly. Like that's how I take it as well too, right? Like
Yeah.
that stuff's gonna happen, things will go wrong. You don't always have control over what that looks like or anything like that, but the human condition is the factor that never changes, and that's just a wild and crazy ride. But we're all there together,
Yeah, we're all alive at the same
right?
time together, so we should respect each other.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't take much to do, honestly.
Now that song is stuck in my head.
I know, earworm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. That's not a bad thing, right? Like, I
No,
mean, this is what
no,
we're trying to do here is to get people not necessarily to listen to the same songs,
no, but
but
just
to
to
find
feel the music,
theirs.
man.
Yeah, and live it, man. Just live it. Okay, you're up. Your show.
Yeah, my last one.
Yay.
It's again a new song. Most of them are new songs. These are songs, and I should say these are not my all-time favorite songs. I don't have all-time favorite songs, because I listen to way too much music to pick
Same,
any favorites.
same.
These are just the songs that recently I've been replaying over and over and over and over and over again, or that I see myself reaching to when I'm feeling down, right?
Fair.
Okay, so it's called Luther by Kendrick Lamar. And Kendrick Lamar is like one of the best rappers, I think,
You sent
in
I when you
mainstream.
sent these songs, I listened
Mhm.
and gone because
Yeah.
nothing
I know,
sticks.
and
I've got to do it a
I
bunch of
would
times,
like we it would
and I
be
haven't had
cool.
time.
It'd be cool if we could do little samples of them, but I would worry about it getting struck for like copyright or whatever, so I didn't want to do that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
show,
That's why we just
but
include the links.
it would be cool if we could do
Well, see, that's where we
actually
have a
show the
jam
song.
party.
Jam
We have
party.
a jam party. We can play whatever we want.
We could do a Facebook Live jam party.
Absolutely. Or TikTok or whatever, and just do a mashup or something like that.
That would be cool.
Yep.
So yeah,
Go from like
Luther.
one of my sappy songs into a rap song.
I
That would
definitely
be that would be interesting.
I definitely recommend people check out Kendrick Lamar's music. He's a good rapper. He's one of the best, I think, for mainstream music anyway. There's
Hmm.
probably many better rappers underground. I don't know. I'm not
So why
really
this
into
song?
the I love the beat. If you listen to it, it has a really good beat and it makes me feel really relaxed and very like
Yeah.
in my zone, like in myself.
Okay.
Makes me feel confident.
Yeah.
Um makes me feel more relaxed in myself.
Well, that's a good thing. I mean,
Yeah.
anything that helps you get there, right? We
Yeah.
all need our songs that hit the zone. I remember back in the 90s when, going to the gym and stuff like that, it had to be AC/DC, right? Like if it was the gym session just did not work if it wasn't
Didn't hit right
AC/DC.
if it was an
Yeah.
AC/DC. Yeah.
Yeah. Something about it.
Yeah.
So, and just for future for those who are expecting to hear AC/DC in this playlist, not today.
No.
I do not have that in this list today. So my next song up is Edwin, Alive. Some of you may remember him from the band I Mother Earth. Um, and so this song was a song that I always used to have on blast in my headphones when I was on my bike, living in Goose Bay, hitting the highway, just checking the trees going by, wind in my hair, freedom. Like
Mm.
I don't know anymore. So when I lose myself and I think that I've forgotten what freedom feels like, I remember that song. I
Yes.
put this song on and I can remember again.
I like that.
Yeah, yeah. And it's, just the lyrics of the song, like the wind in your hair, the sunshine on your face, things like that. Sunshine, no, Sun and I are not friends. But I do love the idea of putting back on my sunglasses and feeling the warmth that comes with it.
Yeah.
Not the sunburn, but the warmth. Yeah. So anyway, that's one of my ones that takes me back.
Hmm.
Matchbox 20. As you know, mental health issues are pretty big in our house between
Hmm.
both me and the husband,
Yeah.
and you know them as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So to me, Matchbox 20, Unwell. When I'm
Yeah.
struggling that way, I go to that song. That's my thing. And then my last on my list is Matthew Good's Something Like a Storm.
Something like a storm.
Yeah. And so the image that I have in my head is small town anywhere. most likely Newfoundland, southern coast, south coast somewhere where fog is relentless, you know. But you hear the old stories of the fishermen going out to sea and not everybody coming home,
Mm.
right? So I have this image in my head of when I hear this song of seeing all of the candles go on in the windows
Mm.
of the houses that are on the shoreline,
Yeah.
hopefully leading the people home.
Mm.
Leading the people on the water, leading them home.
How
And then
intense.
yeah, really, seriously. And this song like feeds that narrative wickedly. And so I also feel like I see people kind of like in that movie, The Mist,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so people coming through the mist, but they're slowly like coming forward. And as they're coming forward, they're reaching out and joining hands together.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's something like a storm coming out to meet the people coming in from the storm,
Yeah.
right? So it's a different type of storm going out to meet the collision idea and things like that. But, you know, true to Newfoundland shore fashion, you get the collision factors of the wind and the rain and all the things that we're known for being on a rock, right? So isolated on a rock with some of the harshest weather in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the people standing strong and standing together, and bringing the people home
Mm.
because not all of us get to come home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's strength in the face of adversity,
Mm.
So I listen to that when I feel like I need community and I need to work on how to find it because it's not always easily found. So I go there with that one. So piles of songs that I could have brought here today, but I brought the ones that kind of like hit home and emotional notes
Mm-hmm.
for me. Hopefully we'll do this again and maybe we can have some fun ones like Casey and the Sunshine Band or something. I don't know. The songs that make you dance, the ones that make you want
Yeah.
to dance, right? We can do some of that.
I would love to learn how to put some samples in though, because I think we could do like less than 30 seconds and we would be
Oh
all
gosh.
right.
Yeah, I think we'd be all right.
That
Like
would be fun.
that's why I like the mashup idea, right? Put like three songs together and our listeners get to like identify what's our three songs.
Mm.
That kind of idea. Something fun and funky and whatever. But lots to look forward to in season two.
And season two, yeah. So looking back at season one, wow, a lot of struggles.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A lot of struggles. Many times where I felt like this is just way too much.
Yeah.
Oh, it's letting me know our meeting will end in 10 minutes.
Okay, there you go.
10-minute time. I'm going to try to keep my eye on it now so it doesn't just shut off on me. Maybe you'll give me another little warning.
Yeah, you need one of those, I don't know, clocks that comes up like a tomato in the corner of your,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although I've seen some of those, and one of those apps actually has the tomato and it throws it at you like
Nice.
through the screen. And I'm like, man, I don't want to be part of that Spanish tomato throwing fight thing. But anyway. Yeah. All right. So yeah, season two. Sorry, you were gonna say?
I don't know what I was going to say. I'm
Or no, sorry,
excited.
season one, looking back on season one.
Oh, yeah, looking back.
Yeah.
Difficulties.
Yeah. But
But
we made it and we're
I can't
here.
believe that. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, I'm
We're here,
so happy
man.
that we made it through
Yeah.
and learned so
Any
much.
yes, most definitely. Because I don't know. I have trouble sometimes sticking through when things that get icky. I could admit that.
Me
You
too.
know, the inertia kicks in, autistic inertia kicks in, ADHD, impatientness type thing kicks in and stuff. And all of it just becomes a happy mess. And I'm like, I am not a good person to be around. Nobody wants to be around me in this mess. No.
Yeah.
It's just not fun. But then I kind of I try and move past that and remember that it's what we bring to the table,
Mm.
right? And authentic representation is always something good to bring to the table,
Yeah, definitely.
right?
I feel like it definitely works out in the long run to be
Yeah.
authentic.
Well, this is it. Like the bed behind me is not made because I'm gonna go jump into it
Oh,
again,
yeah.
early this afternoon. And I can spend my spoons making up the bed to look pretty, all the time, doing all the things. But That's not reality for me,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm showing you a fake face if I do that, and it's about more than just not having makeup on your face.
Mm-hmm.
It's recognizing, okay, how many spoons did I have to use to do the darn thing today?
Yeah. And I don't have
You
that
know?
many.
No.
My days are very low sometimes. I go for my walks and then I'm like, I'm done.
Yep. Yep. Nobody talked to me. Go away.
Mm-hmm.
We're developing the support plan for to work with the Autism Society to, as for training new workers to come in here and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. And as part of the plan, like they seem to think that I like being involved in the kitchen. I do not like being involved in the kitchen. I've had to be because of necessity. Do I want to be anymore? No. I want everybody to leave me alone so
Mm-hmm.
I can go do my own thing. That's it. Go
Mm-hmm.
away. But I'm not allowed to do that, apparently.
No?
No. No, according to, standard rules for community sports and services and stuff, part of the deal is that you have to be available to be involved as much in the care and the action of the care, which includes being involved in meal prep and stuff like that. Even though the amount of spoons that it takes for me to do that is overwhelmingly huge.
Mm.
They don't regard any of that. They just want you to do the thing. They don't care what it takes out of you.
Yeah.
Right? So, I
Yeah.
mean, and that's the thing. That's our world versus their world,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's why our authentic outlook, I think, is so important because we've been hiding behind their um what they perceive as normal and expected and do the
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
as acceptable. And it's long since time that we stood up and said, no, this does not work for us. It never did.
More people need to come together I think to stand up to say that it's not working.
Yeah. I think that started. I think we just need more people
Mm-hmm.
to recognize that, right? And part of that also includes talking to people who are not seen as regularly having a voice,
Mm-hmm.
right? Making sure that they're there at the table as well too.
Yeah.
So I want to figure out how to get some of those people onto here
Yeah. Yeah.
because and have that communication kind of thing, right?
That would be
So,
great.
yep, because it's like what I was saying the other day, I guess I forget who I was talking to, but about being excluded, not being able to get access to a power chair
Mm.
because I'm blind.
Mm.
Piles of
I don't
ways
know how that
to
makes sense.
it doesn't, but it's about their perception and lack of education and things like that.
Mm.
It's their version of what they think blindness looks like
Mm.
and how that works and all that stuff versus how it actually is for so many of us who are blind
Yeah.
or low vision, right? And so they don't bother to ask us, they just make the rules that govern us.
Yes.
And by that, you know, by that collective misinformation and disinformation, they end up putting us back in the hole. They talk about us supposedly having autonomy and things like that, and that's supposed to be the goal, but they don't actually provide us the resources to get there. And the
Mm.
second that we start claiming it, they start balking and saying, no, you can't do that anyway. You're disabled.
Yeah.
So we have to flip that switch.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yay, we're working on that. Woohoo. All right.
And more for season two. More of that for season two.
Indeed. Absolutely. With some fun stuff somewhere in between.
All right.
Because we can't be
We
workshop all the time. That's
will
no fun.
sign off for season one. Say goodbye.
Yeah. All
Sayonara.
right.
Have
All
a
right,
good
folks.
summer.
Yes. Have a great summer, and we will talk to you soon.